Alright, it's a follow-up on the emails. Apparently my quote-unquote gasification process is not working properly. Well, 163 degrees. It just came on. I turned the garage on. It was actually 171 when I came out. I turned the garage on and I'll shut that off real quick. Alright, I set it to 68, it's now 69. So the garage is not calling for heat. I had the wife actually turn the house on at 171. Now it's 163. Okay? Now you're telling me I haven't even touched the wood. I got a hot fire in there. There's not a lot of logs, but there's still hot enough in there. I haven't even loaded a single log since the last video I did that you already saw. So, apparently, you're telling me that tube way in the back needs to be cleaned. Okay. But you're saying there's no airflow. Well, there's a perfect example. Let me get one more time. See all the sparks from. You're telling me the gasification's not working. That looks pretty goddamn hot to me. Like I said, the stove is functioning properly. It cannot handle the load put on by the house. That is the issue. Okay? 162 degrees. It's going down. That dropped 10 degrees literally in a matter of 3 minutes. Once the house stops and turns off, there's no more issue. Stove heats right back up to temp, and we're good. But if there's a load on the system, the stove cannot handle the load. Now the garage is off. The house I know is running. The wife just turned it on. I can't tell her to shut it off right now because I'm on the phone. But this is what we got. 162 degrees. I have gasification. It is really, really hot in there. See the chunks? Okay, I actually just cleaned it out before, so what I'll do is I'll even clean this real quick. Leave it on the phone so you can see. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But what I'll do, let's see. So you can kind of at least hear me clean it out without shutting this off, so you know I'm not screwing around with anything. Hot coals. Okay. Okay. Now, I want you to tell me there's no gasification going on. That's a white hot flame. As hot as you can get up to temperature. I need to shut this now. But you're telling me there's no gasification. That would not be happening, in my opinion, if there was no gasification. Right? Because you're essentially heating the air. Air goes up through those back pipes to the stove, which heats the water in the stove, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, I don't know what to tell you. It's just excuse after excuse. You just keep putting more blame on something else, something else, something else. I prove you wrong. You find something else. Prove you wrong. You find something else. We're now on the third thing. The third thing. First, it was my floor, which I've shown doesn't work. Okay, and you're telling me it's all the floor. It's all the floor. It's all the floor. Okay, that's obviously not the problem. The next thing is you're telling me the heat exchanger in the house is the issue. Before you told me I didn't clean this out properly, okay? It's ridiculous, okay? I don't know who the hell designs something that you can't really get at to clean out. You gotta put a chain through that pipe. So what happens if it's clogged? How the fuck do you get a chain through it? I'd like to know that. Pretty stupid design, if you ask me. I think you really need to look at the engineering behind that. But anything needs to be cleaned out properly. You should have easy access to it in case, in the middle of winter something gets clogged. That'd be normal maintenance. But who am I? I'm just some dumb homeowner that doesn't know anything, right? Maybe you should use a stove before you put it out the market and sell it to people. I don't know. Stupid common sense engineering, if you ask me. 163, still sitting here. A few minutes later, I know the house is on heating up, so that's why it's not doing nothing. As soon as the house turns off, it'll get up the temperature, but it just shows that it can't handle the load. Now, if the garage was running too, and it was, right now it's actually 40, it was like 40 degrees out. Crazy warm weather all of a sudden after a week of 0-degree temperatures. So the garage actually heated up today. Since I got home, it was set at 67. I came in the garage tonight and it was actually 69 degrees because the cement's so warm that it still kept heating the garage, and the day was so warm. So much for all that heat loss in the floor, as I have pages and pages of you swearing that's the problem, okay? This is what I'm tired of. I'm tired of the bullshit excuses. The stove cannot meet the demands that you told me it could, period. That is my issue, okay? I tried to work with you. You don't want to work with me. That's fine. Game's on now. We're going to play hardball. And I told you I'm going to play hardball to the point where I am going to go after everything. And you're going to spend more money on attorneys than it would have been worth fixing and resolving the issue logically, okay? Consumer Protection is getting a formal letter as of Monday, okay? Because I told you I'd give you to Friday to fix the problem, and I'm a man of my word. So at this point, my issue stands till Friday. Or my only resolve to this is till Friday, the 31st, January 31st. Today's the 30th. Okay, I'm sorry. It'd be February 1st, I believe. So, if there's no response, by any means, game's on. Formal letters getting written. Attorneys gonna draft up what I need to draft up, and now everything's gonna be presented legally. I've been more than willing to work with you, but all I hear is excuses after excuses, and it is absolute BS. I'm tired of it, and I can't handle it anymore. This has put major stress on me financially over the last 2 years. Last winter was major financially. Now this year, this is just burning oil. What is the point of having this stove if it can't do what I need it to do? I haven't even got the CO for this stove yet because it has not worked right. I got the CO for the barn, which passed the flying colors, so I know the barn's up to snuff, okay? But the stove itself, the heating source, quote-unquote, the heating source and the mechanical permit, which has all been done legally right from day one, including installation of the floor that you were blaming originally. So now it's the heat exchanger in my house. Well, I can't have a heat exchanger that's too small for my plenum, because then the hot air passing through the plenum would slow down the airflow to the house. You can't do that. All the ductwork guys I talked to prior to putting that heat exchanger in told me to put the biggest one possible because I cannot retard the flow of air through the system, period. So that's what's in my furnace. And that's what they all told me to do. 3 different companies. So they got 3 different professional opinions on what to do. So now I'm still having issues. The stove cannot maintain the heat, and it cannot recharge fast enough to maintain the heat, especially when both systems are calling. So we've been here now, what, 10 minutes? 163. Well, enough said. And I know the house is running. Okay? But what happens usually is it gets down to about 155, 158, like what you saw earlier, and it can never recover at that point. It just keeps running until my house heats up, and then the house shuts off. Stove, the garage heats up just fine. The garage works just fine. But when there's a demand with the house, now you're going to tell me it's my house that's got the issue. You know what? Done. I told you I had 2,300 square feet to heat, and I had a house, forced hot air, and I had a 1,200 square foot garage with radiant floors installed all to spec. And you told me this stove would heat both. I'm out here at midnight loading the stove, up at 6 a.m. This is absolute crap. I'm done. This is not what I signed up for. Game's on.